Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And today on our Hanging Out feature, I have got a colleague. I love hosting people who do this job I do because I always wonder how they will do being on the other side. Because I know how awkward it is to be on the other side. So I always wonder, how are they going to take being on the other side? And today I'm hosting my colleague, Africa Melane, who is the host of Early Breakfast. You listen to him every single morning on 702 on Cape Talk. But there are many other things that Africa does. And the whole purpose of this hour is to get to know him better beyond the 2 hours of radio that he does. How are you doing, Africa Melane? Good morning.
I'm feeling rather strange.
Right?
I never understand why a host has to speak to another host. Like there should be somebody famous sitting on the side.
You are very
no,
famous.
No, I'm not.
You are very famous.
It's lovely to have you in Cape Town.
Lovely to have you on the show, on the Hanging Out feature. And Africa said to me, what are you going to ask me? You see, I was like, Dad, let me worry about that, sir. I want to start off with something that really surprised me because, I know you. I talk to you even off radio, but I didn't know you're an accountant by training.
Yeah. Accounting was, I suppose, the easiest subject for me in high school. So I was registered for a Bachelor of Commerce at the University of Cape Town. And in my first year, got a bursary from one of the leading four auditing firms. And I did my articles, but I never went on to write the board exams and all of that because I realized, that's not my future. Love friends who are still in the industry and they are making a hell of a lot more money, but it was not for me.
What, money was not for you? Or?
No, accounting and auditing. Look, you'll know this. Whatever you do post-secondary teaches you a way of thinking and processing.
Yes.
So accounting is very much still useful. I can open a copy of a business day when they are printing because now they're not for the next 2 weeks because of the holidays. And actually make sense of the news and of the financial statements and reports and all of that because it's still, muscle memory in many ways. But don't ask me to do your taxes for you because I haven't kept up with the tax code.
Okay. So I feel a sense of betrayal because I'm at school, as you know, and I've really struggled with some subjects.
Including accounting.
Yes.
I could have been your tutor.
That's exactly why I feel a sense of betrayal. Because I'm like, this guy, if I knew he had done accounting, I would have come to you a lot of times because...
It is literally the minute you know the system, it makes it easy.
So they say. I've never done accounting ever in my life, and I started at Gibbs. It was really, really tough, but I'm glad I've managed to pass the exams. Management accounting, financial accounting.
They're all important.
Yeah.
And they all serve different purposes.
Okay. So when did you realize then that broadcasting is what you really want to get into?
Actually, it was a dare. A friend of mine was working for a community radio station here in Cape Town, Bush Radio. At the time, I had left accounting and was teaching a professional development course at UCT to first-year medical students, believe it or not. And it was lovely being in the Faculty of Health Sciences and feeling all important until I saw cadavers on the anatomy building next door to mine. So I would walk into the room where I was doing my intervention and I'd literally close my eyes, walk to the window, pull down the blind because it's a medical facility. So like people's arms are half chopped off and their toes are missing because obviously they're studying and all of that. So while I was doing that, a friend of mine, he's now late, poor thing, said, do you know that Cape Talk is looking for new voices? And I went, I didn't know.
Did you know about Cape Talk at the time?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. They were a wonderful, wonderful company. In fact, the first show I ever listened to on Cape Talk, which was simulcast from 702, was Katie Catapodis. And he was a motoring journalist. I want to say Benedict. No, it's not Benedict. Anyway, they did a double header in the evenings. And that particular evening, they were talking about what he should wear to the Motoring Guilds Awards. And Beruranga was on television at that time doing a movie review sort of show. And he made the waistcoat very popular. So I called in and I suggested a waistcoat that was retro for him. And And that was my first interaction with Cape Talk. So I knew of the station, but the idea that I would go on to be employed here did not even feature in my head.
That is so fascinating. But growing up, are you telling me that growing up you didn't pick up any interest in journalism, in media?
No. People often said I have a very good voice.
Yeah.
But at the time, what I was exposed to was a lot of music radio.
Yeah.
And talk radio was in the form of the public broadcaster, SAFM, which was primarily in Johannesburg. And the idea then of moving to Joburg was clearly not on my radar. But doing music radio was not something I was interested in.
Yeah.
It wasn't, back announcing 5 songs in an hour just doesn't quite suit me in many ways. I was laughing with Bongani, actually, who didn't know who Billie Eilish is. I know the name. But I don't know the music.
Yeah.
Because she did
Isn't that
well
girl
in the
who whispers while singing?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think she whispers as she sings. Yeah.
So my interest in music, as we will discover this hour, is very retro and very old school and not popular and not, fashionable in any way whatsoever. So I would not survive a popular adult contemporary music station, I don't think.
Yeah.
So radio, if it was ever going to be a possibility, it was always going to be talk. And at the time, growing up in Cape Town, we didn't have a Cape Talk because we've only had Cape Talk since 1997.
Yeah. So what some people may not know is that you've also done management in radio.
Correct. I was a programming manager here at Cape Talk,
and
for 3 years.
How different do you think? Of course, the two are fundamentally different, but I'm interested in your experience in both of them. What do you think were the biggest lessons for you as a manager that manages talent, and as talent as well, being a presenter on Early Breakfast and on many other shows that you've done on the station?
Well, the biggest lesson I've learned is that I am but a cog in a wheel, right? Because we think ourselves important.
As talent?
As talent. But we're just an aspect of
the
bigger, Cape Talk and 702 primarily, but then Prime Media more globally, right? And if I'm removed, I'll go, thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been really amazing. And then move on to whatever my next thing is, because clearly they found somebody else who's going to be a better cog at the time. And I think people who haven't had the privilege of management don't appreciate the business of radio. This is a business. Yes, we have fun. Yes, we are creative and all of that. But this is a business that needs to make money. And there's a commercial imperative to what we do every day. So
how do we balance then the two, that commercial imperative and the so-called editorial, control that you want to have as the so-called talent? Because that's what you, and I'll speak specifically for 702 and Cape Talk, because that's what the stations pride themselves in. Like, we have editorial control. I don't know about you, but I've never had a boss knock on the door and say, you can't say 1, 2, 3, or
Correct.
Don't say this. Even though some people believe there's a script that we get on specific issues. So how do we balance, and especially from a program manager's point of view, the issue of editorial control and the commercial interests of the business?
Well, my job as a programming manager in part was to protect that, right? And ensure that there's this veil
the buffer,
that exists between the sales account executives and management and programming. We do certain things where if we want commentary on, I don't know, podiatry, for example, which is the health of your feet, and we happen to have a client, we'll go look for that client first before we look for other people. But there's absolutely no obligation that person is advertising, so therefore we have to speak to them.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I think Prime Media continues to pride itself in, that we never get dictated to as programming by sales what we need to do. Except for the competition moments, because obviously that's a commercial sort of property that exists within our shows. What we are encouraged to do is to deliver the best show possible, that is engaging, that is relevant, that is entertaining, that is reflective, and obviously a platform for our listeners to call in, to WhatsApp, to tweet, and do all sorts of other things. And for as long as we are doing that and we are attracting a listener, the sales account executive will have a product to go and sell to a prospective client. That's all it is. Literally, that's what it is.
And what did you understand and learn about talent when you were the programming manager?
That we have massive egos, which need to be nursed. Because there's a vulnerability that we expose ourselves to, right?
Absolutely.
On a daily basis.
Azania Musaka once said, doing this job we do is almost like getting in a public arena and just taking off your clothes.
Yeah.
That's how vulnerable
and saying, okay, do you have darts? Come, throw them at me, please. Because they do, right? And we are paid to share our thoughts and opinions, but ultimately our job is to listen and provide a platform for people to call in.
Yeah.
And literally, depending on who you are, some people don't know that is a job. Other people think it's their way and their way only. And that's not how, it is not how at Prime Media it works. Our style of talk radio is very much listener driven, and we serve the interests of our listeners, which is something that I relish every morning.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about something else you relish, music. Tell me about Mirella Freni.
Well, firstly, I came into the studio, I whipped open my laptop because I need to remember what I sent to your producer, because my interest in music is so vast and so different. And if I were to give you a list this morning, it would be very different from the list I gave Zinhle
yesterday,
last week.
So it's more contextual. It depends
on the day.
On the day. Okay.
And what it is.
So when do you listen to Mirella?
All the time.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily Mirella, but opera. You mentioned that I'm on the board of Cape Town Opera.
Yeah.
I'm the deputy chair and have been deputy chair now for more than 5 years, but have been on the board for nearly 10 years. I can't sing. Unlike you, I don't pretend to know how to sing or know how to dance.
Fired.
But I would argue that opera is possibly the highest form of artistic expression, because the level of training, and it's not just sheer talent. There's a lot of hard work that goes into preparing that voice in order to give expression to a story that was written often centuries ago and make it believable and relevant to an audience in 2025. And for people who've never listened to opera ever before, I think Puccini is one of those composers that you absolutely have to listen to. It's very gentle on the ear, in fact, a lot of the music is familiar. It's often used in movies and series and adverts and all of that kind of thing. And Mirella Freni is one of those sopranos that gave life to Mimi. Now, Mimi is a character in La Boheme. La Boheme is a story about these poor artists, a writer, painter, whatever. They're living in this sort of bohemian place, and in the earlier scenes, they're literally tearing chapters from books that they've written in order to keep a fire going. That's how poor they are. And then Mimi is the neighbor, who herself is ill. She's got what we then can call in modern day tuberculosis, right? It's a pulmonary disease, and she comes knocking. And the aria that I'm going to propose that you play now is the one she sings quite early in Act 1, where she introduces herself. Now, the tenor was the tenor just before, saying, I'm this, I'm great, look at me, I'm the best. And then there's a gentleness to how Mimi is presenting herself in the soprano, in this aria rather. And for me, one of the best written arias for soprano voices ever.
All right, let's listen to it. Ooh, what's Mimi saying there? I was just getting goosebumps.
In the earlier parts of the aria, she says, yes, they call me Mimi, but my story is short. A canvas or a silk I embroider at home and abroad. I'm happy and at peace. Of dreams and fanciful things, those things that have...
Credit provider.
10:30, time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Testing Africa. Can we test your mic? So Africa, what happens is he is so used to broadcasting from where I am, and now he was speaking from a different mic.
Altogether.
Yeah.
Hosts should never speak onto hosts.
No. But now we've got him on the right mic. So we'll continue our conversation after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. I see your WhatsApp voice notes coming through, your calls as well. I'll start with them after the headlines.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10:33 on our Hanging Out feature this morning. We've got Africa Melane, the host of Early Breakfast. You listen to him every morning, and you listen to him on Cape Talk. You listen to him on Radio 702. And this morning we're getting to know him much better. Africa is one person who probably, out of all the hosts on this station, you could argue 98% always on time.
Yes.
With the news.
That is true.
With you are very thematic and structured with how you do radio.
Ironically, the background in auditing was probably my training ground.
Oh, yeah?
Because you needed to submit timesheets. And so an hour was an hour and you needed to account for that hour. So
Yeah.
I was always mindful of time from a young age.
So you guys are going to be surprised today because I'm going to be on time this entire hour. So I'm very deliberate about that because I'm hosting someone who is a stickler for time. Okay, let's go to your WhatsApps as we continue our conversation with Africa Melane. They're coming through on 072 702 1702.
Morning, Clement. I'm definitely sure you struggle to bring him on air. I know he doesn't like such things, but make sure you make him laugh a lot. Do I enjoy his laughter, let alone all the good things he does for us. I've got an alarm ready for 4 o'clock every morning just to listen to him. And even when people are angry, he knows how to cool down. I don't know, does he ever get angry? I love you, my son. It's his year.
Hi, first and foremost, thank you, Clement, for a good show. And Africa, I just wanted to say thank you for a good show. You're usually the person I listen to. I'm an early bird. I wake up at 4, but I have a little pocket radio and usually listen to your show. Thank you so much for a great show in the mornings. And with the bragging rights, I've claimed some of them, but I just wanted to bring in an appreciation post. Thank you. This is Bakam from Centurion.
Wow, Clement and to listeners. I've been wishing one day you bring Africa Melane to your show. Finally, it happened. I'm so happy. That's my guy there. Big ups. CJ from Highlands North.
Good morning, Clement. I thought it's 4:30 because when I heard that voice, I thought it's 4:30. Good morning. It's Donald, man. I like Milan Africa's show very much, and I listen to him every day. He's an aspirational radio presenter for 702. But I have a question to him, and will you maybe prefer to be a TV news reader like SABC News or 405, because we want to see you on TV? Don't you have that interest, man? We just want to see you on TV. That voice, man. It's not here. Let me tell you this.
Donald, let's see if you will work in convincing Africa to join television.
Firstly, thank you very much for all those heartwarming messages. We take our job seriously. I think I can speak for you. And we never really sit with the impact that it has on people. And when you hear it in voice notes, as you've played, it makes waking up early quite precious. No, Donald is the answer. I have been approached by several news channels, but I've always thought that news anchoring on TV should be a reward for years of reporting. Christiana Mampua, for example, was on the beat in the Middle East and in Europe for 20 years before she got her own show. Same thing with Anderson Cooper. Like there's an amount of hard grafting you have to do before you then get rewarded with the show. In South Africa, it's not the same. There are people who are green who are given the privilege of being able to read news. And look, delightful Kanye is one example, who was yanked from a desk, I think, and told, "Hey, go and read." And of course, she was one of the most memorable news readers. Kanye. Back in you're so young.
Okay, I'm like, Kanye?
Never mind.
In my years, I've never heard of Kanye.
Not. I'm showing my age now.
So, do you think you've not done enough work to...
I've got an accounting and auditing background.
Yeah.
I love talking about the news. I'm not a person who reports on the news. So therefore, why would I take up the slot that should be given to someone like you, for example, who's put in the hours and the years?
News anchoring, in my experience, is also less about on-the-ground reporting. So it's what you do on the radio every morning.
To have some insight as to what the reporter you're talking to on the other end of the camera has had to endure in order to get you that story. I think the radio experience would be an advantage, because when I watch people who have radio as a background, I find them much better interviewers, quite frankly, than people who do not have radio as a background. So that, I mean, even in sports, for example, like a Kola Njinga, Emawande Mateza, the kind of questions they craft, the sports people that they ask is absolutely fascinating.
Someone asked, or was it something they said, do you ever get angry?
I do.
I've never actually picked up even the slightest of your anger, whether on radio or off radio.
I'm very good at not shutting down when I'm angry, but I do like going for a walk.
So Cape Town.
Baking something or whatever the case may be. Try and process why whatever has been said or done has made me angry. And so by the time I come back to you to talk about it, I would be rational and said, when you did that, this is how it made me feel, and this is the reason. And then we hopefully come to a solution where it should never happen again. I'm never irrational. I'll never shout at you.
Okay,
there's no value in that.
Okay, that's really fascinating. One person says, where's that message now? Says, "Hey Clement, you've got my crush there." Africa Melane. Do you get that a lot?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Sometimes, yeah.
And does it make the work awkward?
No.
You've
Not
come
at all.
to...
I've had a crush on people.
Yeah.
And it's allowed.
It's allowed. And Tebogo says, "Hi Clement, I need you to ask Africa to read something in isiXhosa, the romance in his voice. When he reads Lizali City Ngalako, just bring tears in my eyes." But Xhosa. Yes, Teta.
Grew up in Guguletu.
Yeah.
Born of a Xhosa mother and a Xhosa dad, who were both teachers, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I only studied isiXhosa as a language for the first 4 years of my schooling. It was still sub 8 to standard 2 back in the day. And then I went into English medium training and schooling from standard 3 onwards.
Okay, we can tell you went to English medium training, Mr. Manyathela. It so says, "Hi Clement, lovely show. Thanks for hosting one of my faves there. A well-rounded presenter, Africa." Speaking of well-rounded, is there a show you've never done on 702? You've done the breakfast show.
So when we used to have a sports show, we used to have a weekend sports show, and then Udo did the soccer show between 7 or 8 and 9 at some point. So those are the only effectively 2 shows I've never done.
Yeah, but as it stands, and in fact, by the way, you could do a sports show because you actually understand sports. You can kill a sports show any day. But as we speak right now, the show's currently on 702. Have you done all of them?
Yeah.
Even the evening show?
Yeah. Talk at 9, or as it used to be called. Overnights, obviously, is how I started. I'm on early breakfast. I've done breakfast. I've done your show.
Yeah,
I've done Middle Report. I've done early afternoon.
Yeah.
I've done Drive.
Afternoon Drive.
I've done the Money Show.
Yeah.
I've done A Word On. I've done Weekend Breakfast. I've done Solid Gold.
Solid Gold.
Yeah,
I need to find those clips.
For many years, I was a Solid Gold presenter.
Find me clips of him back announcing some songs on Solid Gold. That would be interesting to listen to. Let's go to some more WhatsApp voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Clement. This is Kabele from Pretoria. I'm not big on men's voices or how they sound like, But the one thing that I've always noted, and I always tell people, is that how soothing and relaxed is Africa's voice. I can't imagine talking about serious things like interest rates or depressing stuff. So I always found his voice to be soothing.
Good morning, Clement. Lately, Africa has had to skip the bragging rights segment of his show because of running late. So I dispute the fact that he is always on time.
I've only done that 3 times. Only 3 times.
Morning, Clement. I just wanted to say I'm so happy to hear Africa being interviewed by you and getting to know him a little bit better. I listen to Africa every single morning when I was working, and now that I'm not working, I still wake up. I have my coffee and I kick back, sit in the bed and just listen to him. He just gives me the vibe for the day. I just absolutely love him. He talks common sense, and I unfortunately haven't won any of the competitions with him, although I do think about them when I'm sitting in bed. But I'm really happy to hear him on the radio, and I would love to meet him one day. When I go down to Cape Town, I always think, I should actually go to Cape Talk and see whether I can meet him, but I've actually never done that. But anyway, I'm really happy that you're here, Africa, on the radio, and I'm learning a lot more about you.
Oh, that's beautiful. When you come to Cape Town, he will take you to the best coffee shops.
Yes.
The best beggar place.
Yes.
That to this day is the best for me in Cape Town. You introduced me to it. So yeah, he knows some good spots. What do you do for fun? Someone was asking, please ask him what he does for fun. Surely it's not just reading the newspapers and getting ready for his show.
There's a lot of fun in that. I do a lot of theatre. As you also indicated in your intro to the show in the previous hour, I chair the panel of judges. Come from? What do you mean? What sort of question is that?
I mean, it's 10 years, right? 10 years of you being on the board.
Oh, the love. Sorry, I thought you said the laugh. I'm so sorry.
No, the love. The love for theatre.
I was in standard 3, standard 4. So this would have been late 80s. We did a school excursion to the Baxter Theatre, which is in the southern suburbs here in Cape Town in Rondebosch. And we went to go see a wonderful, wonderful production of Ipindombi. The incredible Temim Charlie was one of the actors. And we were sitting in the rafters, literally in the second balcony. And back then there were no cell phones. So there was no need for any announcement to please, all that happened is that the auditorium went dark. And in 40 seconds, we were in the middle of KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, which is where Ipindombi the musical opens. And I was hooked ever since. The possibility and the ingenious, in terms of creative expression that happens is outstanding. And at the moment, I get to see upwards of 70, maybe 80 productions in any given year. And it's such a privilege to be able to see so many productions in a year.
So one of the things because I've started loving theatre over the last, 3 years. One of the things I've enjoyed to do is when I'm traveling, especially if I'm in London or in New York, I have to watch a theatre piece. It's something that's going to move you and stays with you. I've watched the Book of Mormon in London, and it was
probably an expensive ticket, but it was worth it. I imagine
it was worth it. It was so incredible. But what else do you do for fun? So apart from theatre,
I love hosting. I cook fairly well, and I enjoy hosting people, and I love that moment of the reveal. So I tend to do what is done a lot in Italy, which is feasting. So you just have these platters of food and pots of food on the table, and then you just unveil, and then people go, wow, and they start eating. I am lucky in the sense that I live in the city center in Cape Town, which means load shedding was never a reality for me, even at stage 6 levels. And this one time, and this is me being naughty, but this one time I was preparing a brisket that was going to be in the oven for 6 hours because it was winter, and stage 6 load shedding was underway. And for 42 seconds, I thought maybe not. And then I thought, I absolutely have to. And so I did. And it was probably one of the best briskets I've ever eaten in my entire life.
That's fascinating. I must still get you to cook something for me. Teto that we worked with at EWN says, hi, please tell him that when I first met him in Cape Town, when I joined EWN, he gave me the most assuring and affirming hug. So much so that I wanted to move to Cape Town so that I can work in the same building with him. Depth, gentleness, kindness personified. A legend. That's a message there.
That is very kind.
From Teto. Okay, so Tutu, tell me about the song that we're gonna play now.
I love jazz.
Yeah.
As you very well know. And in fact, I was listening to Moses Mudaleka's Mountain Shade yesterday, and I was thinking, maybe I should have picked this song. And then every day I'm listening to somebody else and going, that. Tutu Puane for me is one of probably the greatest vocalists that South Africa has ever produced. She's married to a Belgian, I think, and they have children up there, so she spends a lot of time out in Europe, but she travels back home regularly enough to come and delight us with music. Her latest offering actually is taking Lebo Mashatile's poetry and writing music to
Lebo
it. Lebo Mashile.
Unless she's married to the deputy president.
I know. So sorry. Lebo Mashile, who, as you know, is a great poet herself.
Incredible poet.
So she's done 2 volumes of that. But I'm not picking a song from that album. Instead, I am picking a song from one of her earlier works. And Umpo, I think, is her daughter's name. She sings in Sotho, so it's a language I don't understand. But with music, translation is never required. All you need to do is feel. It is quite instrumental in the beginning, let me warn you, and then the lyrics kick in, and then you hear the crystal clarity in her voice, which is just exceptional.
Good morning, Clement. And good morning, Africa. You are my best early morning voice. My day is not the same if I do not hear you early in the morning. You are my favorite empath, culture vulture, if I may call you that, sorry. And thank you for being there always in the morning. Jackie in Sandringham, Johannesburg.
Yo, Clemente, you are speaking to Dusty here. You know, Africa is my guy. He wakes me up in the morning, 4 o'clock. If I don't hear his voice, I don't wake up. And if there's somebody almost looking say hi, Clemente, I don't wake up. But if I hear his voice, I jump. Bona, his voice keeps me going. I don't care who says what. I even said to my husband,
Dumela Clement and Africa Melane. I don't know how much I've missed, but what I know is that I absolutely adore listening to Africa on the radio. Unfortunately, I don't always get a chance to listen to him because his show is so early in the morning. But on the odd occasion that I do get to listen to Africa, it is always an absolute treat. He has a way of delivering radio, a way of interacting with guests, a way of inviting and engaging with listeners in a way that really challenges one's intellect and way of seeing things. He is a privilege and a treat to listen to, and definitely an asset to 702. Wish him everything of the best and wishing him a safe, peaceful and restful festive season with his family. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Someone is asking me, Clement, I've always had a crush on Africa. Is he married?
No.
Are you married, sir?
No.
Would you like to be one day?
No.
You don't? Why?
No. I support the institution of marriage. I really do. I've been best man twice in my life. And really admire and applaud the people who choose to go down that path. But it's not for me. I will commit to one person for possibly the rest of my life if I need to. I'll sign the legal document to protect each other's assets and all of that. But no.
Okay. Irene, you're calling us from the UK in London. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement. Wow, it's nice to hear that Africa is sitting next to you. Oh, Africa. Bonamo, you wake me up very early in the UK just to listen to you. Just to listen. Very early in the UK, just to listen to your voice. And I know for a fact that you love your wine. You are unapologetic about it, and you love your good food. So it's so nice to hear your voice. And you are so great. I mean, you do your show so well. I mean, for the fact that you have to wake me up in the morning until the show ends and then Bongani starts, so I'm grateful for you and I'm grateful for your voice, and I promise that one day I will make sure that I bring you a nice, bottle of wine, and I make sure right because we are podcast. Hey.
Africa. By the way,
do you know what the irony is? Do you know what the irony is? I do not drink.
He doesn't drink.
I've never touched a drop of alcohol beyond what I cook with, and I suppose when you have ritual ceremony. Yeah. But I appreciate good wine in the sense that it's going to enhance my guests' palate when they're dining. So do bring a good bottle of wine, because I will throw it down the drain otherwise.
Even though, okay, Archie, you're in Sunning Hill. Quickly, good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Sharp. How's it?
I'm all right. I'm so grateful to hear Africa on your show. Is one presenter I listen to every morning. And I would like to give a confession. I've been on radio 702 ever since I came to South Africa in 2005, I think.
Amazing.
I know no other station other than 702. Now hearing Africa in the morning, I spoke to him once. And I was so happy. And my confession is that my love for radio actually inspired my firstborn daughter to do her degree in media studies.
Fantastic.
That's beautiful, Archie. That's incredible. That's incredible. And I hope she's gonna do incredible and be like Africa Melane.
Oh, be like Clement Manyathela.
Or many other people who are broadcasters.
I should confess, this is the third time that Clement has extended an invitation to me. So poor thing.
He had no choice this time. I was going to come drag you out of your apartment, your house, and bring you to studio.
I love how you presume that I'm staying at home and doing nothing the other times.
I'll find you at the theater, wherever, to drag you to studio. What else do you think you still want to do? Do you think you have done whatever has been close to your heart, or are there certain things that you still yearn to do?
I think radio has been an incredible opportunity. I've been doing this now for more than 2 decades, and it continues to be a joy and a privilege. And it fell upon me. It's not something, as I said earlier, I dreamt of. But I often think what happens when they do call me and say thank you, but no thank you. And the idea of serving in the diplomatic service often comes up, not as an ambassador. I don't want to be sort of sliding up next to politicians and no. But in an official role where I'm in a post outside of South Africa representing the interests of South Africa, I think I'd be quite decent at that.
I think you would. Thank you so much for making time for us. It's been lovely getting to know you better.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
It's a minute before 11.